Greetings, everyone. It is your favorite time of the week. It is the day before the weekend and the day that we like to call Wild and Weird Radio Live Thursday. Yeah, that's it. I just made that up. And I think it's going to stick. I think that's what we're going to call this. It's the, it's the whatever, weekend eve, I guess, right? So anyway, everybody, let's get in here and get all your wild and weird friends out there and send them the messages. Make sure everybody's tuned in. And for the rest of the world who is listening on audio, Joe,
guys, this part of the show is going to be cut for audio, so welcome aboard. We hope that you jump over to Wild and Weird WV over on YouTube, catch the rest of this show, because you're only going to be getting the first hour during the audio portion. So you're definitely going to want to catch up on what you will have missed, because next week you might open up the show and be like, man, there was a lot covered. I didn't get all of that. I need to go back and look. Well, you can always go back and check the live archives as well as all of our other videos over on YouTube. And if you're not joining us live, what are you doing?
I just wonder.
Because this is where the cool people are.
I don't want to live in that world, but
right?
So, you guys who do, that's, make sure you come over and join the live.
So as for the folks who are in the world of Wild and Weird right now, we've got well, is that you, Brandon, or is that the other Brandon?
I don't know.
Lesa's in the house. Donna, Hough, James Nelson. We've got Anita Allen. Look at you, on time and early, might I add. Nancy White's in the house. What's going on? Finding the Trackway. L.W. Marshall, the weekend finally begins. Cannot put it any better way. Fish Belly, as always, is in the house. We've also got Larry Hose hanging out in the background. Larry actually informed me today that he is also following up on some reports that were given to him this past week up in his area. So hopefully we'll have some news back from that next week. We've got Finding the Trackway. I think I already said Finding the Trackway. If I didn't, I just covered you, buddy. Rob Posey, what's going on? Lesa, Octopus with No Friends. You made it at 8:01. Look at you.
Look at you.
Teresa's from the History of the Tri-State. Hello. It was good seeing you last night, Teresa. We did a Bigfoot talk at the St. Albans Paranormal discussion group. I had fun with that. It had a great crowd.
Great turnout.
Bunch of people turned out. It was everybody seemed to have a good time.
Yeah,
and I got to meet this cat right here, LR Miller.
Right there.
He came out, met him for the first time face to face. It was great meeting you. Senor Spookface, what's going on? Good to have you back in the house again, brother.
Welcome, senor.
Then we got Estacada Man. Howdy from the Pacific
Northwest.
So is it
howdy.
Estacada or Estacada? Which one is it? Fill me in. The BigfootLittlefoot's in the house. We've got Eyes in the Woods as usual hanging out. Let's see, do we got?
There's always Eyes in the Woods in the woods.
I think we got caught up. LW brings a good point here, getting close to the TNT workshop.
Yes, it is.
We are less than a month away, guys, and it is going to be an absolute ball. You are going to love it.
Yes, it
is.
There you are.
Adam Good has arrived.
All right, let's make sure Pat's here. Adam, send out a APB on our missing individuals.
Oh, and guys, don't be alarmed if my camera does anything weird tonight. At my normal mount that I put my camera up with is in shambles, so it's just kind of chilling right now.
That's awesome.
Senior Spookfest says, seen a video breakdown by a professional on the shadow alien and the people the backyard in Vegas.
Oh, man.
I guess it was something strange that they caught. There's been a lot of people who've analyzed that, and nobody's really been able to rip it apart.
I've not seen anything on anything new, I should say, on that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yes,
Lesa says
OBC is
OBC
coming up.
is coming up. Whoop, absolutely is. That'll be next weekend of
Whoop.
May the 4th. Be with you. We're going to be up in Salt Fork State Park in Cambridge, Ohio. You can come check us out. We are going to be rocking the 3rd floor upstairs.
It's gonna be a party.
That's our new home there.
It's a party. Might even be a tiki bar. I don't know.
Never know.
Never know.
All right. Well, you guys ready?
All right.
We've got to. We'll go ahead and get this part out of the way too. We're going to get the housekeeping all wrapped up before we get going. Then this show is brought to you guys and kept free by our executive producers, Adam Good, L.W. Marshall, Theresa of Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Larry Hose, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Lesa, Finding the Trackway, Tommy Swiger, Pat, Small Town Monsters, Eyes in the Woods, James Nelson, and our amazing super chatters out there, Dewey, the Deucer Edwards. Where is Dewey? I'm going to have to shoot Dewey a message.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Spooky Appalachia. You got Jimothy down there. What? Ron just vanished. Guitarchains Craig, Travis Aurednik, Geoffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, BigfootLittlefoot, Terri Summerfield, Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug, Donna Hough, Angie Breeden, Jen Clower, Jamie Snell, Ike the Fob Daddy Fobber, Ashely Hilt of On Wednesdays We Talk Weird, and the Beastly Beastie Beast podcast,
Oh
Beasts of Stuff About Beasts as well. Go check that one out. And, of course, Lotus Flower. Thank you guys for keeping the show free for eons and eons to come.
Everyone give themselves a big round of applause because you make the show go.
That's right. So, and, for those of you guys who are listening over on the podcast side that have never jumped on the live with us, those folks donate to the show to keep this show completely free, i.e. we don't run a Patreon. We don't have one of those little gimme things like give me a coffee or buy me a sandwich or something like that. This is all maintained and kept up by those folks that we just rattled off. Not only that, but they also help us provide workshops at minimal fees and minimal costs. Some of the workshops that are put on out there, you're going to see prices upwards of $300 to $600 depending on what the workshop is and where it's at, whereas ours remain affordable thanks to the folks here that you see listening and all those guys that we just rattled off there. Hey, Ike is in the room now. What's going on, boss man?
Absolutely. And that's an awesome thing, and absolutely can't say that. I think we have the best community out there. I'll be honest with you.
We really
in my opinion, we do. It's not just a bunch of, fans who, because fans can turn on you just like that. And this is more like a family. If we have disagreements, we move on from it. We're here next week laughing about something else. So, and that's how I like it. So it works really, really well. And I love it. So if you are a part of that family, well, thank you so much for making it free for everybody. And as Joe said, if you're going to buy us this coffee or a sandwich, then you buy it and you bring it to a show that we're at. A real one, not a fake one, but a real one.
If you want to do that, we've had folks do that too. And it's been fantastic because there's a lot of the times we'll be at these shows and we don't get away from the booth, especially if it's a really busy event like
Mothman. I remember that time Theresa saved our lives.
I was getting ready to say Theresa came down and gave you guys some life support there right before we went on the stage at Mothman Festival.
That's right. Sure did.
I just want to say I'm a big fan of no bake fudge. So if you want to bring that.
Well, Brandon probably won't be there anyway, so we'll just eat it. So go ahead and bring it. It's all good. We're not going to save it for him. That's what I'm saying. But if you want to support the show in any other way, I know that this week, our t-shirt provider over there, TeePublic, there's a sale. And so you can get some of our designs over there and have them shipped straight away to yourselves. So go over there and have a look at that. You'll find that link over on our website. So guys, tonight, the subject is it's pretty much about this soft disclosure. Right? Because think about this. This is how the show goes, by the way, the people who are listening on the radio, on the actual podcast. This is not your typical Wild and Weird radio show. This is not what you expected. Okay. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We're going to try to stay a little bit on topic, but this is these folks' show. So
Yeah.
if they want to go somewhere, we're going to go with them. Okay, that's just how this works until we can get our podcast back up and running. But right now we're just too busy for that.
There's so many things. The cogs are spinning at a million miles an hour, and
you'll get
all
to see it soon.
the sweatshops are running like crazy.
Yeah,
so
it's all going to be worth it. It's all good. So let's talk a little bit about what is going on right now, because there's a lot going on right now. It's just that the main media is not picking up on it. Thank you, Ada Cox. Thank you.
Oh,
coming in hot, but breaking the ice for everybody tonight. Thank you, Ada. You are amazing.
Send them a salute.
Okay. Thank you.
Big
Ada.
Thanks. A massive thank you.
And one of our favorite humans there.
Everybody else is out there thinking too, so that's awesome. So I got a question. How many of you guys are aware that this week we really did get a confirmation that this Kona Blue thing actually did happen? We talked about that last week, right?
Yeah, we touched it last week, but there's been a whole lot more come out.
Oh yeah, and that's the crash retrieval stuff, right? So, which is the same thing that Grush has been saying since last year, by the way, and began, taken down every time.
And what our old buddy Elizondo was saying years ago.
That's absolutely right, 100%. Well, here's the thing. There was apparently something that was released back in 2020 when we were all scrounging for toilet paper and locking ourselves inside. Apparently there was some pretty high level stuff going on that didn't have anything to do with the rest of what was going on in the news. For some reason, these individuals were busy trying to figure out what was going on up there with these things that we had seen in 2017. Right?
Yeah. And what is most, I guess, for me anyway, based off everything that's been coming out and how it's all been treated, the department of which that ran Kona Blue, that was Homeland Defense. That's where the funding was coming from.
Well, so they say. I mean,
well, that's who released the information.
Well, just remember that program officially never took place. So we're going to say that program never officially took place, right? Because that's what they said. It was just proposed. It was proposed. All this budget was proposed, $50 million up.
Yeah.
Roadmap. It was just proposed. It wasn't. Okay. So fast forward to this week when Christopher Mellon releases something on his subreddit. Let me find it because you have to see it. And this refers back to a crash retrieval, which had been in almost every ufologist books for as long as Roswell. I mean, it actually predates. I think people actually investigating Roswell, because Friedman is the one who brought Roswell up, right?
Yep.
But this goes back a little further. This was the Kingman, Arizona crash. And it also seems to me that this Kingman, Arizona crash could be kind of like what happened with the Flatwoods Monster. You know how we had the one case and the other case, and they kind of molded together and made this one pop culture thing. That could be what happened here as well. But I'm going to find this. I want to share the screen with you guys because it's pretty cool. If you don't know what's going on, this is what's going on. And this is a pretty big deal. Let's just say that it's one of those things that, how they say, don't hold your breath. Well, I'm kind of holding my breath on this one because I think that this is going to be a hard one to walk back. So
it's going to be a very difficult one to walk back because there's been now it went back in the same direction, I think, as it did when Grush first came out, that now the ball is actually in the government's course to try to prove that they didn't do this.
Right. So I'm
We've
trying.
got people over here saying bacon card already, getting ready for the Zinners.
You guys are awesome. You guys are. Did I tell you you're my favorite people? I think I did, right?
Lesa, that's what we had for dinner. I just literally, before the show started, crammed a entire pancake down my gullet.
Okay. Whatever gets you through. So this is what was released this week. This little box right here. You guys see that box?
Yeah, so this is a text box.
This is a text box. And this is Christopher's Substack right here. This is what this is. So basically, what he's saying is recently, as a result of a Freedom of Information request, the Department of Defense released some signal exchange I had with Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. Who? What? Who?
What?
Former director of the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. We call them the Arrow. The release surprised, but did not offend me, as I'm a strong supporter of the government transparency. Okay, so anyway, out of respect for the author's confidentiality, I have been sitting on this message for a number of years. I have also redacted portions of the document to protect the identity of the author. However, I recently obtained the author's written permission to release it. So he has written permission to release this. In other words, this is now declassified. You can read it, which is what we're going to do. It has also now been approved for public release by the Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review. That's DOPSR, by the way. My purpose in releasing the document in the wake of the government's blanket denials regarding a possession of off-world technology is simply to help others understand why I and some others consider these allegations worthy of investigation. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
This one reads, blank and I are making huge progress getting into the CR program. That's crash recovery.
Crash retrieval.
This is, mind you, circa 2020. He plans to meet with you at some point. The blank would be slack-jawed if they found out what we know. I'm assuming that's the public.
Possibly. Or
maybe the DOD.
Yeah, or the
possibly.
DOD.
Who knows? It's somebody.
It could be something like that, or even
might even be Pentagon.
It's kind of a longer blank, so you got to kind of read into some subtext there.
Yeah. Anyway.
Then there's an entire redacted message from Chris, and then the senior U.S. government official responds, "Right now, we haven't gone that far back. I'm guessing because it says 45 verses back in the back, so you're looking at Roswell." And we all know we can't talk about Roswell.
We can't talk about Roswell, but we can talk about Kingman, Arizona now all of a sudden. So
yes.
Go ahead, Joe. Do it.
Yes. So right now, we haven't gone that far back. We're dealing with the recovered UAP that landed in Kingman, Arizona in the 50s. Landed, not crashed, landed. We're vacuuming up info as blank gets read in. We now know the management structure and security control systems and ownership of the crash recovery.
Stop. Say that last part again slowly. So everyone.
We also know who recovers landed or crashed UAPs and under what authorities.
You said that. He said that.
Yeah. We also know who the security and control systems and ownership. Going back a sentence there. Ownership.
Know is the key word. Know. They know where the stuff is at. They know. Yeah. And this was in 2020. Continue on, Joe. We also know
who recovers landed or crashed UAPs under what authorities. We also know that a still highly classified memo by the Secretary of the USAF in the 1950s is still in effect to maintain the cover on UAPs. We also know that the SES-2, who's the Air Force gatekeeper, name is redacted.
Okay. Time to discuss, children.
So we we apparently know the management structure under how these things are compartmentalized.
Mm-hmm.
Because the management structure, what they're referring to there, that's not like a structure as in a building. He's talking about a structure of management as in like administrative folk, individuals who are in place, know where things are, what things are, and how they got them, and then the ownership of said items. That's the one that gets me the most, man.
The ownership of said items. Let's
The ownership.
We have to go back a couple of weeks now, Joe, because we just heard from the whole, this is all bunk. There is no such thing. These were all drones. These are misidentifications, right? Pretty much came out and said that anybody who had seen anything was a liar without saying that they were a liar. And yet here it is.
Yeah.
So when he gave that testimony, was he under oath?
That wasn't testimony. That was a back and forth communique between Chris and this unknown.
No, I mean when he went before Congress and basically said there's been no substantial proof of.
Oh, you mean technology. That? I don't know, Brandon. I don't know that they did a swear in on that, but normally they do, right, Joe?
Well, it depends on what it is. If it's something that's going in that's like legally binding and whatnot, then yes, they do. But in this case, this is just discourse is what those meetings were.
Yeah.
Any kind of swearing in sort of thing would have occurred back in the skiffs.
Yeah.
Not necessarily there in the public floor because it's not a legal matter. This is he's reviewing data and presenting data, and anything that would have been done in the skiff would have been under oath. You would assume that they probably treated it the same way, but it's a good possibility that a lot of these times those types of meetings that are broadcast on TV, they're not under oath, so to speak. Now, your witnesses will be brought in, like when they brought in Commander Fravor,
yeah,
and those guys and Grush and everybody, those were all under oath.
Right. Brookie wants to know, what does everyone think of Chris Bledsoe? I'll go first. I think that Chris has had some incredible experiences. I think that Chris is in tune and acceptance with the phenomena, whatever it is. And there is no reason. I've read the book at this point. I've seen, the stuff that he's done on Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, I believe it was, or was it Skinwalker Ranch? I don't remember. Either one. I can tell you that was not faked. That's all I can say about that for right now.
The activity that he's obviously able to call in and has been recorded.
Yeah, that's the word. Call in. Yeah.
It's hard to be skeptical about what you're seeing like that. So looking at that information, I've got to lean into the fact that he is at least a credible source of what could be going on with some of these phenomena and contactee cases. Now, is everything he's saying like up to snuff and passes the sniff test? I'm still kind of, the jury's out for me on that, but he does seem to have the ability to communicate with these things and them show up. And that is, so far, that's what has been really proven. The rest of it is like the stuff that's been proven. That's what I'm on board with. The things that are more of a cool story, they're a cool story. Real similar to like my Bigfoot encounter back in 2001. I didn't collect any data off of it. It's just a really cool story.
You get enough cool stories that mesh and go together. I know there's a lot of these, people, science says that you must have empirical data. I'm sorry, but there's enough anecdotal data to make mountains as big as Everest, and I cannot ignore those types of data sets any longer, especially when we see these things ourselves from time to time.
But we still have to scrutinize those things.
We can scrutinize them all we want. We can call them out for what they are too.
Yeah.
They're on the table for a reason. That's what I'm saying. Let everybody else make their own decision. What do you say, Brandon?
I don't think there's enough to disprove him. I haven't seen the stuff off Skinwalker Ranch, but I've not seen anything substantial to say that he's a liar. I've seen a lot of people just get really heated about it and try to call him one, but like nothing beyond that.
It's a really good book. I'll tell you that. If you haven't read the book, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, get the book. There's, the dude is friends with John B. Alexander. I am envious. That's all I can say.
Yeah, he's friends with a bunch of government officials too. That for me is, we'll see. We'll see where it pans out. That's where I personally sit. But I'm always in that seat where I'm in the show me category. So let's go back in here. We're talking about the management structures of all these things. They know the management structures. That is one of those deals where they know the individuals. And like you had suggested last week, Ron, that kind of hints at a real life Majestic 12, right?
It does. It absolutely does. And, I know a lot of people don't like him, but who was it? Was it Dolan? Yeah, Dolan. He did a really good episode this week on one of his podcasts where he broke down the Kingman incident, and some of the notes from that are just absolutely amazing. For those who don't know, that was a alleged crash that took place. I believe it was in 1953, if I remember correctly. I think 1953. But here's the thing about it. The star witness on this was a man named Arthur G. Stansel. Okay. He was 28 years old at the time. He was a scientist. He worked in the Atomic Energy Commission. He was brought in to study this material that they recovered following this crash. Okay. But it's kind of like in that day, he'd be like the Grush of that day, so to speak. You know what I mean? The only difference is this dude, he actually says that he saw with his eyes these things. He saw, proof of aliens. Call them what they were, because that's what they said in the report. It was aliens, 4, which were taken from this craft. And also, it wasn't a crash, guys. It was not a crash. It was a controlled landing, or more specifically, they think they brought it down because what had happened at that time apparently was a little thing called the Cold War was starting up, right?
Yeah.
So we had just learned that, according to this research, that the Russians in the day had just started, this program where they were flying the bombers over close to the U.S. territory. It's the same thing they do today. They've done it since the 50s. They don't not do this. If they don't do this, there's something wrong.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
yeah, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference is back then we didn't have the radar to watch them. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Okay. So we were developing this radar to actually track these guys and making sure that they're just staying off the border. We don't want to accidentally trigger, nuclear holocaust or anything. But so here's what they did. They set up these points. This is allegedly what they did. They set up these points in Arizona. Three radars, made an array. And this array, according to them, is what this thing accidentally flew into, and it just came down to earth at I think it was like a 20 or so degree angle, and boom, there it was, wedged into the ground. They went in and recovered this thing. The door was literally open on it. There were 4 beings. To me, though, honestly, I don't know that we brought anything down by accident or not. But now we have to look back at what Grush said. Remember what he said? Well, we've taken them down. He said that. Those were his words. So it's kind of like we're talking about the same thing. And remember, this was 2020. And I told you in the multiple presentations that we've done at this point, I've said UFO history is what? It's nonlinear.
Right.
It's always nonlinear, guys. We're not going to get a play-by-play. We have to get these little pieces and put them all back together. And pretty soon you got this conspiracy board, and it makes you look like you're nuts, but this is not nuts. This is real. So the theory of this is that, yes, they brought this thing down. And it also related to a project. There was it was the Atomic Energy Commission did in 1954. It was an agreement that they signed. It was, I think it was an act. And I can't remember. It might have been the 1954 Atomic Energy Agreement Act. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but I do know that there was wording in this. And the wording in this basically says, and this is the quote of what it says. It has called for trans-classified foreign nuclear information. And this is something that the Schumer legislation, remember the Schumer legislation, right? We just did this. It called for bringing back up. So a lot of these researchers believe that that specific line in the Atomic Energy Commission's agreement, that act that they signed in 1954, when it says trans-classified foreign nuclear information, may actually not be nuclear at all. That may be how they hid that. And then, since 1954, they figured out, well, we got to get rid of this stuff. We need to move it over into private hands. And I think that that's the world we live in today.
Wasn't there also an agreement that Reagan made with Gorbachev when he came over for a visit that if UFOs ever attacked them, they would help?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Yes. That was part of that
was the walk in the garden.
That was, that's exactly what that was. That was the walk in the garden. And that was during the strategic talks that they had. I think it was SALT 1 or SALT 2. I don't remember, but SALT 2, I think. But they were actually discussing that, Brandon. And the answer was, of course we would.
Yeah.
So they really took this seriously. But my thing is, in 2020, it kind of seemed like we were on the track to get this stuff released. And then
something derailed it.
Exactly.
So Donna Ho says that her husband and his older brother both lived in Kingman at the time, and they both saw it. According to them, it was seen by them and many others.
Yeah, lots of people saw it, apparently. And it's a really cool craft. If you've seen any representations of it, it's your typical saucer, except for it seems to have like these vent kind of things around it, like a Saturn shape. It's one of the Saturn shaped saucers. Very cool. Oh, and by the way, the other thing that I found interesting about this that now makes sense that didn't then. They said that the scientist who went in to actually try to open this thing up, which they did, they opened it up. They complained of uneasiness and dizziness and I believe nausea, which is exactly what we heard last year when, who was it? I can't remember who it was who said that, they walked in, it was disorienting.
Yeah.
That it was bigger on the inside. It had the TARDIS effect or whatever, and it just messed with them. Yeah. We've heard this before.
And it was also, it resonated as well with Rendlesham.
Yeah.
And the way that they felt as they approached this craft that was out there, that was landed.
Yeah.
Adam earlier said that it was a donation. And
what is it? Oh, the donation.
Kingman was a donation. I think that Kingman was very much a donation. If you read how it went down, it didn't hit like Roswell and blow into a million pieces.
Nope.
Christopher, what's going on? Good to have you with us. Senior Spookfest says, yeah, you have bodies. They might not be at Area 51, but we do have some at bases. And I am still not unconvinced that we have more than just bodies, that we have worker bees, so to speak, that may be still alive. But there's a lot of witnesses from different time periods who claim this, and they've had little to no association with one another. And then you go and you add in what David Grush has said in the past about non-human biologics, and it just seems like we've got something that we're like buddy with. You can go and shake hands or mind meld with.
Yeah. No, really, for real. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And who was it that said it was a donation? Was it Adam said donation? So what you're trying to say there basically is that these are a craft that were given to us for whatever reason. And we've talked about that. We speculated about that for a while. And it's like, because someone was like, Star Trek, the Prime Directive and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, the best way to get around Star Trek, the Prime Directive in Star Trek is, oops, we crashed. And we didn't recover it.
Lesa brings up a really good point here. And we had talked about this on the show back then.
We did talk about this.
About how the news was being released, especially during 2020. So many of these articles and so many of these declassifications were happening and being buried under the media coverage of the pandemic.
That's right. Absolutely, Lisa.
Yeah. And it was there were even people, we made the comment, like, we've got the government that literally just said, yeah, okay, UFOs and aliens, yep, those are a thing, but make sure that you're doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And everybody just was like, whatever.
Make sure you're using Lysol.
Yeah. Everybody just was whatever with it. And it was so bizarre because we were sitting back watching this happen. And we were like, this is happening in real time. And everybody's just going about it.
No, I don't want to sound like Alex Jones or anything, but do you think maybe we were put under quarantine? I'm not going to say the word.
No.
Because something was going on in the skies.
No.
Well, I guess there's something going on.
No.
There's something going on in the skies.
No.
No, I don't think so. We had actually said on the show in the past that there was a possibility that there could be some kind of that it could have been a preventative. We were covering all these different hypotheses, and it was, we were really digging down into the bottom of the barrel for some of it, but because we got deep into speculation land. But
you can go deep into speculation land.
Pretty wild, that whole 2 years right there where they were dropping all that news from 2020 and 2021. So much UFO news and so many disclosures occurred.
Yeah.
With things becoming declassified, and CIA dropping stuff, Homeland Security dropping stuff, and FBI coming out and releasing information. There were so many government releases during that time that got absolutely no coverage at all.
Oh, there was also warnings, and Lou was talking about that, and he said that there was two sides involved in the government. One side wanted it released, and the other side said that no, this is demonic or something, and they didn't think you should touch it. Remember that? Yeah. And everyone laughed at him at the time, and now look at where we're at. So, and we said that you can see the two sides very clearly now because it's a push and shove contest.
Lesa says we were locked up because demons were rampaging in the street.
That's exactly what it was, Lesa. That is exactly
demons running all through me.
You can't have that.
We got demons in the streets.
Oh man,
they're running around everywhere. Hide your husbands, hide your wives. We got demons everywhere. But
it's probably a song.
Right.
Yeah,
and
that'd be a great Black Sabbath title, Demons in the Streets.
Anyway,
now when we're looking at this stuff and what specifically what Chris Mellon was saying, I want to go back to that again.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
When Chris mentioned here, I'm going to bring it up real quick. You were in a screen. Sorry, you were sharing.
Oh yeah,
bring up that chat.
Let me find it again.
Actually, I take it back. That probably would have been a better Ronnie James Dio song.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of tricky to find.
It sounds like a really bad Striper song too.
Is it? Okay, I found it.
If it was Motley Crue, it would be
bring this back up. Okay.
Jen's in the house. What's going on?
Hey,
Zombie apocalypse, and we missed it. Well, I worked through it, but the rest of y'all don't know.
Okay, here we go.
All right. So looking at this clip here with the text message bubble. It says in the last sentence of the large paragraph sent by the senior government official, we also know that still highly classified memo by the Secretary of the U.S. Air Force in the 1950s is still in effect to maintain the covers on UAPs. Ron, you know exactly what memo that is. We've discussed this in the UFO histories. And the fact that this is still standing now, almost 80 years later, a memo from a brand new branch of the military, still standing on the cover of UAPs. Can you wrap your mind around that? Really?
No.
That it's still, because so many of these memos, okay, when a memo is released, there's normally not, there's sunset clauses built into them, like any kind of things like for JFK, there was a sunset clause in that, and the sunset got moved back multiple times because people voted on it. This was apparently something that just got left alone. It wasn't touched. There was no sunset built into it. There was no ending. It was just, here it is. It's a weather balloon, essentially. And we're going to stick with that.
Well, it's always balloons. That's just how it is.
And then the fact that we know who the Air Force gatekeeper is, and then the name is put there. They mentioned it, and it's redacted.
It's redacted.
So we don't know who it is, but they knew the gatekeeper and mentioned them.
Yeah.
This gatekeeper is who is keeping the information away from the rest of us.
Yeah. Because
that means there's one person.
We also know, it says, no, it doesn't say new, and it doesn't say who it was. It says we also know who's present, current, right then in 2020, the Air Force gatekeeper. So, Majestic, anyone?
I'm kind of ignorant with those abbreviations they use, but do you know what an SES-2 is?
It is the Secretary of let me get that for you. I don't want to say it wrong. It is a senior executive service is what that means. So it means it's a senior official.
Yeah.
And they're enlisted. This is not a civilian side thing, kind of how the government will have people in place. This is a senior official, somebody who's been in for a long time. Normally they're going to have a star on their shoulder. If that, and they're going to be generally the people with SES-1, SES-2 setups. They're guys who've got, stars on their shoulders, and they're Joint Chiefs of Staff guys and all that. So they're really high up on the pecking order. This guy just happens to be in the Air Force.
So is it public info who might have been at that rank at that time?
What was that? You broke. I couldn't hear that last part.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Is it public information who was at the rank at that time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could find that out. Like that redacted name isn't going to be difficult to find if you
can find that out. And I'm going to go ahead and share this link to everybody here. That way you guys can go do your own research on that. And we are now moving within about a few minutes from about 15 minutes from the close of the audio portion. So everybody else stay tuned. We do not leave when we cut for this, which we will be doing here in 15 minutes. So just stay seated, remain seated. The show is not over. Joe, so as I said, are we in an era of this self-disclosure? Because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The same thing is happening in the Bigfoot world. We've got the same kind of with the eDNA stuff. We've got the project that's taking place. Is this not kind of just convenient? That's all I'm asking you at this point.
It's all happening around the same times, which is really strange. We've also got some of the one of the largest Bigfoot research organizations on the planet that is coming out, and they're starting to talk about some of the weird stuff. They've even dropped names like DARPA into the mix. And here we are right now getting some really strange information that's finally being pushed out there, that's been redacted and held back for ages, literally 30 years. And they're being said, this stuff is happening. It's parallel to the Bigfoot phenomena. We've also got eDNA that's been going through different avenues and different channels. We've got stuff that's gone through one of the universities in California and one of their DNA panels, and it revealed that there were other human primates in the area with the Expedition Bigfoot guys. Whether you like them or not, they got some
good night, Danny.
Real data.
We'll see you next time.
And see you later, Danny. And Then you've got Daniel Barnett over in the UK, who has gotten non-human primate and old world great apes and old world monkeys in the middle of the UK in a small pocket of forest. These things are starting to kind of line up in a weird, strange way. You've got Darby Orcott's DNA stuff that I'm really looking forward to hearing about here this coming weekend, because he's going to be at OBC. So I'm planning on going and talking to him for a little bit, and seeing what all they've kind of maybe come up with, because it is at the make or break point. Like I said a few weeks back, that it's either going to be it is or it isn't.
Right.
Like it is a flesh and blood creature walking around, or it is not, because people are experiencing something.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. I don't think we can deny that anymore. We've seen enough evidence ourselves at this point to know that there's, something going on.
Yeah.
Is that? Hang on. I've got a technical difficulty.
Go for it.
I found a list.
Oh, it's working. Go ahead.
Anita says, I need to find eDNA on my site. Go digging. Anytime you find a footprint, start there. So we've got, we do have all these things that are kind of lining up. They seem, whether or not they're related, that is, it's
to be determined.
It's still to come up. We're gonna wait for that and see. They might be. I mean, we've got enough subject B data to infer that there is some kind of a correlation at least half of the time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what comes out, because these studies are going to be the make or break. And, and like absolutely. I mentioned last night, the nest site, out there in the Olympics, it's under NDA stuff right now as far as the results. They haven't published a single ounce of their results, and it's all going to go up in Legend Meet Science too, by what I understand.
Yeah, you don't do NDAs when you have nothing. That's right. To say that.
If it's a nothing burger,
you don't need to do that. That's why I find it ludicrous that we have these top secret memos about weather balloons and conventional drones and, these adversarial technologies. Come on, guys. That's not, as well as we do. We are not that stupid. So, quick plug for the show next week. Next week will be the next installment of Wild and Weird Radio Live in focus, because you all asked for it. Here it is. This is the technically the third one. This will be the third one. You guys keep sending in your photos and your videos, and you want us to do the photo analysis thing live, and that's what we do. We pull them up on here and we go back through them, and everybody gets to say, yeah, that's this or that, or it's a nothing. It doesn't mean anyone knows what it is. It's just that we all get a big, wider, I guess, idea of what these things can be. So everybody joins the collective that one night and learns how, their voice can matter. Basically, that's what it comes down to. So yeah, if you want to be a part of that, just send in your paranormal photo, UFO photo, whatever you got, cryptids, over to wildandweirdwv@gmail.com, and it will join the big list that's growing over there already of stuff. We'll even do audio samples. So if you want to send an audio sample in, we'll do that. But we'll do it live. And this is all your material. You have to make sure that you are the owner of it. We are not responsible for any fiascos or mess ups. If you share someone's stuff that you did not have the permission to do so, that is on you entirely. And by posting that, you make sure that you accept those terms, please. The rest of us, we are just going to look at your stuff and try to figure out what we're looking at. That's our job.
And guys, if you are listening over in audio land, this is definitely one that you're going to want to jump on YouTube for, because you will be missing so much just in audio, because we're going to be running pictures, video clips, possible audio clips. It's going to be a show that you want to tune in for the episode, or at least go back and catch the first hour.
Oh, it is absolutely
what we're talking about.
Yeah, it is absolutely one of our most popular little things that we do, and people just
my
love
favorites.
Yeah, they love it. And
I love being surprised.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. You never know
Mhm.
what you're going to see. It's always something very
And we've had
strange.
some really good stuff too, like
Oh
stuff that
yeah,
we can't
Oh,
find an
yeah.
explanation for.
yeah, yeah. It's not one of those debunker shows. It's not.
Nope.
If we can debunk it, sure, we'll all do it. But that's not what it typically turns out to be. We've had some very good mysteries, and
Yeah.
and they go away as mysteries too. They're very good. So yeah. So it's a lot of fun. So join us next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and promptly, and we will start the show by doing just that. Joe, we are now 9 minutes away on the audio section.
I'll round us out then. All right, guys. Thanks for listening over there in audio land. You guys are night shift guys. We're out there working the warehouses, driving on the roads. All you guys who are out there, stay safe. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Remember to jump over to Wild and Weird WV over on YouTube. You're going to be able to catch the entire video segment of this show. You don't want to miss out. We'd love to have you over here engaged in the conversation along with us as well. We will be appearing for you guys. It will be next Saturday at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. So come out and check us out May 4th. We're going to be up on the 3rd floor. Come hang out, say hi, tell us that you listen to Wild and Weird Radio. You never know what might happen. Now, if you guys are going to be at OBC and you do want to hang out with us, please let us know. Our table section is more than big enough to have you come party with us and enjoy some time, share the stories. And you never know, if you stick around too long, we might just put you to work collecting stories from folks as they come up and tell them. But,
it could happen. It could happen. You're also, you can share your accounts at the table, just like everyone else does. And there'll be a lot more information on that there. But yeah, if you've got stories, come on over and let's talk.
So guys, remember, we're here at Wild and Weird WV over on YouTube. You can find us over on YouTube Music and everywhere else you find your podcasts. We're all over the place. Also check in here occasionally for different investigation videos that'll be going up and additional content that will be popping up from time to time. So until next week. Oh, wait, before we do that, remember, guys, there's a sale going on at TeePublic, and it should still be going by the time this bit of audio runs out. Normally it goes until the end of the weekend on a Sunday. So go and grab some Wild and Weird t-shirts and wear them with pride around the workplace, around your family. And you won't regret it. They're really cool.
Yeah, you can grab the TNT Area Paranormal Workshop Special Edition, which will be disappearing after the event date. So you have a limited window to get that one. And I've still yet to see anyone with the tie-dye hot pink version. I want to see that. So yeah, hopefully somebody orders that.
All right, guys. That's going to do us for this episode of Wild and Weird Radio. Hope you've had a good time. Hope you've enjoyed what your ears have consumed. So remember, if you're out walking around the woods and you have a strange bird calling to you from God knows where, don't follow it, because it's probably following you. Stay wild and weird.
Okay. Now, for the rest of you guys who are, the loyal ones, let's get back to this bit, and let's get to your questions. Let's get to some accounts. Anything you want to share. These floors are open.
So Lesa, can't wait to see you up there. That'll be I think the first time we'll have actually met you in person. Is that right?
I think.
I know we've met Finding the Trackway before. Is there anybody else that's going to be up there at OBC with us?
Yeah, anybody.
Sound off in the comments. Let's see. Oh, Spookfest is going to be there.
Okay.
That's cool. We're going to get to see Spookfest. Come find us. Our table's not hard to miss, especially up on the third
floor. Straight upstairs. You'll find us. Can't miss it.
You're probably going to hear us too.
Probably.
Was last year when you guys got that footage?
Yes.
When you were doing that interview.
That was where it was the birth of the ghost possum.
That was the ghost possum.
That's correct. Ghost possum.
Yep.
And we're gonna.
I can't wait. We're gonna go back there again.
We're gonna go back there again. We're gonna see if we can get the old ghost possum.
See what other kind of animal tries to lure me into a fairy portal to dismember me.
Hey, what do you think about
it's a turtle? It's a ghost turtle.
Do you think you should follow the lights, Joe? What do you think?
Well, we're gonna find out one way or another.
Number one rule: don't
Yep.
follow the orbs, even when there's something else.
Jen says, Trackway, should I share the audio? The answer to that is yes.
Well, yeah.
Findings given the green light.
Green light. There
Let's
it is.
Do it.
Boosh.
You got is Spookfest you leaving, or are you just saying bye to somebody else if you're leaving?
Where are you leaving? Don't leave.
See you later, brother.
We're sad.
See you Saturday, next Saturday.
Sad.
May the 4th be with you is right.
Absolutely. May the 4th be with you.
Yep, that's exactly right. We got OBC, and then we're taking a weekend to recover for TNT.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I can't wait for the TNT. It's going to be a great time.
Well, I can tell you guys, you're gonna have an amazing time. And we tested out some interesting equipment, and it works. And you're gonna like it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love what's gonna happen out there. It's gonna be
like
fun.
it's been fun playing with those things in the interim, but actually getting to test it in the field. Like I was not to see I didn't get to see it in action. I was doing something else, but the results that Ron was able to gain and retrieve were very compelling. So I can't wait to see it in action going out in the field with you guys.
It's good data. That's all I can say about that.
Yep.
For right now.
So let's see. Trackway says you can't miss Jen. She'll be the one with Cliff Barrickman in a headlock. Have to stop him from kicking your butt. What'd you do? He's like the kindest little small person I've ever met. I have Judas Priest live a few days before TNT, so full weekend for me. That is awesome. Judas Priest is a heck of a show.
Hey, did you see that Megadeth is coming to Huntington?
Yes, I saw that today. Megadeth is going to be in Huntington. We need to let Tony know.
Oh, man.
We're watching. Fantastic.
I see that.
Bringing Mudvayne with them.
Wonder where they were.
Let's see.
It's nutty.
All right. I think it's caught up with everybody.
You got everybody caught up?
I think it's caught up with everybody. We're the real ones. The ride or dies. That's right, Angie.
Keep them going, folks. Keep them going.
Oh, man. Okay. So back to old Kona Blue.
Yeah.
It's been getting talked about everywhere. Tucker Carlson went on the Joe Rogan Experience and shared some stuff there.
Oh yeah, yeah. He did.
I haven't watched the entire interview, but I've seen several clips about the UFO stuff that he had talked about. Little, 2 and 3 minute clips that were put out
all
there.
Demons. No, I'm kidding.
What is it?
It's all demons.
It's all demons.
Yeah. So,
and it's I think some of the stuff with this is goes back to the same gripe that I had with the Bigfoot community and his language. And that was something that I started having difficulty with, and I don't know why, but I'm very particular about the language of stuff that gets used, because you get into situations where you're talking about demons.
Yeah.
real quick. And you're not talking about demons. And that started whenever I was a minister and doing that full time. And people would use terminology and language, and they were using it incorrectly. And, I was schooled enough to know that at that point. And I'm like, the lingity ain't lingity in here. I
can imagine how that went, because you're pretty outspoken whenever you see BS.
Oh yeah,
is being wrong, and I can just imagine how that went.
Oh yeah, man, it didn't get me any friends. And, but then when we started doing this, like the Bigfoot community and using the word woo and all that kind of stuff, it it's one of those things where it really does a detriment to the community, is people classifying things that are measurable as woo. And I disagree with that 100%. And Anita brings up a good point here. People think everything negative is a demon. My favorite is pure unadulterated evil. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lock your doors. But yeah. So anyway, Jen also says, I don't like the name woo. Yeah, we don't use it here unless we're specifically talking about this type
calling it out
thing. Yeah. And when it comes to this, Ron and I had this conversation earlier in the week, that, you know, and Brandon too, that this comes down, I think, to a broken language and what we use, the terms for spiritual, right? Mm-hmm. And I think one of the clips that I saw Tucker Carlson in, he kind of addressed that to a very minuscule degree, but saying that, you know, these things are spiritual based off, like, just for lack of a better word, they're spiritual, they're extra dimensional, whatever. And that's kind of how he addressed that. And we really do address those things in that way with how this project worked. And, you know, they're saying they're collecting non-human biologics, and people, if they say they're spiritual, we are technically, human beings are spiritual beings. Okay. That is across all religions, across all, even in the tribal side of things. You go all the way back to Homo naledi. That Homo naledi knew that we were spiritual beings because they believed in some form of an afterlife. So they took care of their dead, buried them very ceremoniously, right? And, you know, it all breaks down into what kind of words we're using is the bad part. So when we're looking at this phenomena, like, what would be, because Ron, you've been doing the UFO thing forever. What would be like a terminology that would be more acceptable beyond spiritual being in your world? Like, what would jive better than, because spiritual being can be interpreted in very large skew of ways.
Sure. I mean, and I honestly don't think non-human intelligence actually gives it a good you know, definition either, because we don't know what humans are.
Dumb.
Well, exactly. They can't be intelligent. But no, because we don't know what humans are. And I know that sounds ridiculous to some of these people, but what I'm saying is, can you prove to me that we are not the same as they are? Only removed so many, you know, I guess either millions of years or technology wise, we're kept dumb is what I'm trying to say. Maybe that's the case. If that's the case, then we would have almost the same DNA, wouldn't we? So you couldn't say that one's non-human and one's human.
Right.
If we create a device that allows us to, you know, go through portals and materialize in places like, oh, I don't know, the Miami Mall, or Antarctica. You see what I did there? Then are we aliens? No, we're humans that are using this advanced technology. Right. So non-human intelligence doesn't quite fit.
Yeah, so another thing too is, how do you know definitely that a spirit you're talking to actually was a human at one point?
Well, that's the whole point.
How do you know it's not something else?
Exactly.
Right.
Energy be energy, right? I mean, we don't know what that is. That's the problem. So I think
we really don't know if they're like, because this thing's been really, really loose though. You know, you've had some things that refer to them as like energy type beings, like you just said there, Ron, the energy be energy.
Yeah.
And like, I know that we're energy and all that stuff, but like, when I'm speaking of it more in a literal sense, like there have been people that have described these beings as being energy, like they're disembodied.
Yeah.
And then there's people who describe them as being a body of some sort. And who's to say we're not dealing with things that are from here and things that aren't from here?
Right. So I think an advanced cognitive life form would be more apt to call them than, say, aliens or, non-human intelligence, an advanced cognitive life form of some sort.
Yeah. So we need to fix, and this is another thing that we can tackle, because we've noticed headway in the Bigfoot world, where we started this movement years ago to change the terminology, and we've seen that pay off. People within the community of researchers have started using the same terminology that we've been using to attribute to these things, and it's been very cool to see that. Because we're getting away from a lot of the more negative, instantly negative connotation, and that scares a lot of people away from telling their encounter and their story.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we have seen a huge, like a wave change, right, in this whole event. Like things are changing, and it makes people nervous when things change.
So let's when you were looking into the Kona Blue stuff and reading that document, did you see kind of the same links that I had seen that linked all the way back to the remote viewing of Mars?
Yeah, because that's all relevant, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. This is all we ran with the whole program of that last year. I mean, that was the making contact presentations that we did. And apparently someone was paying attention, because that's what the whole year turned out to be. So, for real, that's exactly what happened. And it's kind of scary if you really think about that. But
now, speaking of remote viewing, how do we know they're not using remote viewers still to find these things?
Oh, they are trying to.
Oh yeah,
trying to.
The Kona Blue program that went all the way up to here recently, and there were mentions of that kind of activities. I mean, they're still doing some of the stuff they were doing in the 50s. They just like Ron has said in the past many times, they just changed the name.
Yeah, they do. Trying to keep
Finding the track says I would find myself a traditionalist, but it only took one night for me to say that there's something non-traditional out there. Oh yeah.
That's all it takes. It only takes one encounter. That's all it takes. One encounter that you can't quite put your finger on. And we lost our Instagram feed just now.
Speaking of all this, I was just reading an article where the chief over the SETI Institute was interviewed, and he says he's not convinced that we have been visited by members of an alien civilization.
However, you've got dummies like Musk who's saying, I've got 600 plus satellites out in orbit and I've not seen any aliens.
That must mean
that would be embarrassing if a program that's been around for almost 50 years now hasn't found any proof, but he's had satellites up there for 5 years and has found proof.
Yeah.
That would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Jen says the Bigfoot get mixed in with other phenomena and it comes out in one big blob, which doesn't help. Exactly.
It all does.
It all is very much going through that same procedure.
Yep.
The problem being they could all be sharing the same web.
Oz says Ingo Swan said he remote viewed into a place with NHI and they sensed that he was there. It was creepy.
Ooh.
Oh, they absolutely sense that you're there. That's 100%. Yeah, that's true.
And they even had the same kind of reaction there when McGonagall went to Mars.
Well, they knew that he was, but
they knew he was there.
Well, the thing is, if you read that and then read the book, he's talking about that, and they ask him blank, and he says basically that he got the sense they weren't there anymore, that they were gone, that this was basically they were ghosts, they were like energy, he was seeing the past. So and that's the whole thing about when you're doing remote viewing or any kind of psychic thing, you're not literally seeing what's there, you're perceiving something that was, or you're perceiving a impression on your mind of how this
Mhm.
is. So, to him, he said, that basically, yeah, they saw him as one of them, and they were, that's how he was getting the information.
Anita Allen says, if you're familiar with the feeling energies, then you know when someone is remote viewing, and the same as when a person is staring at you.
Mm-hmm.
Men in Black, these big brain primates haven't even remotely viewed Mars via their robot. NASA films that in Australia, allegedly.
Oh, that was good.
Trackway says, the strangest thing to me is the feeling of, oh, crap, they're here. And then whammo, something out of the ordinary happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that there's this, call it energy, call it a feel, call it whatever, but there's something very strange that seems to happen, and then something even stranger happens after that. If you can figure that out, then you've got it. You know what the trigger is. You know what you're looking for. If you're out in the woods and you get that tingly kind of feeling, it's like back up, because something's going to happen.
Brandy says, have you heard the name Robert Stanley?
That sounds familiar for some reason.
He wrote books, Close Encounters of the Recent 2000s, DC UFO Encounters. Hadn't heard of those.
There's something else. Pretty sure.
So when with Kona Blue and everything that was released, we get the feeling it's not been said, oh, Larry Hose.
Larry Hose.
Oh, wow.
Larry
keeping it
coming
free.
in hot.
Keeping it free, Larry. Kids. Thank you.
Hey, Tom's in the house.
Hey, Tommy Swiger is here. Mr. Swiger, welcome.
Thanks, Larry. You are awesome. Let's see. Then we got
Brewed in water.
So Kona Blue,
delicious.
With all the talk with Kona Blue and everything going on there, it was heavily implied of Luis Elizondo's involvement. Yes. Tommy,
super sticker.
And so he shall not be forsaken. All hell, Sky Daddy.
I really owe you guys some new ones of those, but been busy lately, so hang in there. It's coming.
Thanks, guys. You all are awesome. But with this whole project, it's heavily implied that there's Luis Elizondo fingerprints all throughout it. It kind of confirmed some of the stuff that he had talked about in the past, but it doesn't directly identify many. It identifies government entities. But one of the mentions was that the program also had goals, including details and plans on reverse engineering any advanced technology and to determine whether the adversaries, namely China and Russia, could have access to the same recovered AAVs.
Yeah.
This is the reason we have nice things. That's exactly right, Anita.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's absolutely correct. Thank you for calling that out.
And it has been confirmed that Russia and China both have agencies that do the exact same thing with crash recovery and retrievals.
Sure. It's, Grush even said it. He called it a secret alien, or not alien, a secret UAP Cold War.
Yep.
And that's exactly what it is.
So, with everything that's going on regarding this currently, we have Arrow, who is literally poo-pooing over all this stuff.
Yes.
And then we also have Arrow that is brought into the Kona Blue report.
Well, Arrow pretty much said that, this wasn't real. That's their whole thing. So, and as far as the Kona Blue goes, they are the ones who released that. But they did it in such a way to say that, look, we can't get rid of all the crash retrieval stuff because we know someone's going to find it at some point in the future. So let's just whitewash it for what it is. This is a proposed project that never took place. That's what we want to highlight. That's what they want to highlight. No, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Didn't work because there are smoking guns out there. And those are the ones who are sitting on the sideline and said, oh yeah, watch this.
Right. The whole thing with this, it just reeks of a fumbled football.
It really is exactly what it is.
And it's like watching people scramble.
Yeah, it's going downfield. And how close are we to the goal? I don't know. I'm hoping somebody comes out of somewhere, just does a Hail Mary, and this game just poof like that, you know.
Yeah.
That's
somebody's got to recover this, because it's one of these things where you have Arrow did their big report a couple weeks ago, and Kirkpatrick. Well,
that was
Arrow, it was Kirkpatrick.
That was preemptive when he did that. That was preemptive because he was going after Grush's upcoming testimony that he was going to give, his op-ed, but he cut him off. And, you know, and they ran with the ball ever since. And now they've gotten the ball smacked out of their hands a little bit.
Yep.
So it's been
the ball. Everybody thought like, okay, here's it. This is the end of the UFO stuff. Even the media was running with this is the end of the UFO topic.
But that was the whole point.
And now this drops out, released from the government. So who is it? Who is the smoking man?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Who is the smoking man? That's what I want to know.
Who is the gatekeeper?
Because there's somebody.
Yep.
That is out there. That is the smoking man.
Yep. That's
literally
the gatekeeper. Yeah.
And that's very intriguing. And why is he drip feeding? Anytime there seems to be an advance from like the non-disclosure crowd,
right?
All of a sudden it's like, oh, well, okay, figure out how to roll this one back now.
Yeah.
Because we had all this stuff coming out and everything got quiet and it started dying off. And then David Grush appears, right? And then everything fever pitch. We get these testimonies. We get these skiffs that are occurring. We have all of this stuff going on. We have members of Congress who are like in a fever pitch to get this stuff resolved. And then all of a sudden, quiet.
Yeah.
And then Kirkpatrick comes out with his scathing op-ed, and then the news runs with it like, oh yeah, these guys are ridiculous. They don't know what they're talking about. They believe what they're saying, but what they're saying isn't true. And they were being fed information, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, boom, here comes this drop. And they're like, oh God. And the ball's back on the field again. We're not in control. And who is it that's doing that? Because you know somebody's sitting back there is like eating popcorn like this is.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right. This is one of those kind of situations. And
releases a oops. There's a lot of people who said, I can't believe this actually got released.
Yeah. I don't think this is the oops at all. I think this was the play. Now the question is, we have to ask it because all things go on the table. And is this a legitimate play or is this disinformation?
Yeah.
For the crowd who goes with Luis Elizondo, David Grush, they're all government, so they're ex-government, so this is all part of the plan, some secret agenda, blah blah blah. Then they're going to go with this and say, "Oh well, see, that's what we told you. This is all just part of that." I don't necessarily believe that because I haven't seen any actual evidence that shows that yet. There's no more evidence that shows that than there was, some of the eclipse nonsense that took place a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Just want to say, and if you were dumb enough to give a $300 tip because you believe that you were going to be raptured the next day or two, and then you came back and had the nerve to come back and demand that money back, I'm sorry, that bus is gone, and you should probably not do that ever again. You should learn from that lesson.
Take care of your servers.
You can take care of your servers
about that.
You can take care of your servers, but you don't go back and demand it back.
True.
Which is exactly what she did.
Right.
What's
Yeah,
funny
those-
is
it wasn't over. I thought I was gonna.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You thought you were
But-
playing the lottery too. And
But she did that a couple of times. She did that with 2 people because I think it was like 700 or something is what it ended up being. I don't know. It was a lot of money. I know that. And then she tried to file fraudulent charges back on her card and against them, but it's already gone at that point.
Tony says, my money is on Captain Lou Elizondo as our cigarette smoking man, or he's likely only 1 degree of separation from whoever that is. I think that you're fairly close to the money there. I tend to agree with that. I can't make up my mind whether he is the smoking man or that he is within 1 degree of separation of that guy.
he might be the mouthpiece for the smoking man.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting one of those new fire breathing robot dogs in case any men in black come knocking on my door. Yeah, you can get those from a company in Ohio.
That's
You can
awesome.
drive right across the border here from West Virginia to go collect your robo dog that breathes fire.
I'm waiting for them to put that in Fallout.
Oh yeah.
Now I want a robot dog.
That'd be
that breathes
great.
fire. So it can go after the ghouls. That'd be fun.
So it I guess Adam's saying something about fart jars. But yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know who the smoking man is.
Well, I think Men in Black just answered that for you.
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
because that's
But, like, for real,
literally.
is it the Men in Black?
This
is it
what-
really the Men in Black that's
this
doing
is what's,
that?
This is what's happening right here. Like there is absolutely something to this controlling faction. Now we have to ask ourselves why this is true. You know, why is this happening? We've talked about it before. It's either that ontological shock stuff, like they were warning us, but now apparently they don't care because, you know, like we also called out and said, if they do this, then, you know, strategically, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be, you know, a freaking Wild Wild West show. And that's what you're seeing because they had a chance to do it right. And now it's just going to go off the rails and ontological shock, etc.
And that was warned.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Not just by us. That was by
Right.
actual real people who, you know, who made threat assessments and get paid to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And they ignored them. So this is exactly what, you know, the scenario but there was only 2. There's only 2 scenarios. And this is the one that we figured was going to happen.
Yep.
We are right where we figured we would be. And it's going to be rampant, crazy stuff. And I think that's also why Arrow did what they did. I think that's why they shot out there as fast as they could and tried to.
And we were curious as to what that was going to be. Like what we knew it was preemptive for something. We thought it was just preemptive for Grush, but it seems that they were trying to get out and in front of this stuff. Almost like they knew something was coming that they were going to try to prevent, but man, did it backfire. Cause it's like these people you can tell they're not normal people.
No.
And when I say normal people, you can tell that these folks who work in the government don't think like we do.
No, they do not. They absolutely do not.
They're Orbs, Owls, Battlestar Galactica. There's Ron. Ron's right there, guys.
That's definitely the real Ron.
Yeah. And you know, it's one of those things where they definitely don't think like we do. They know that they don't know that we see that kind of stuff and we're like, red herrings. Okay.
Yeah.
I see how you're trying to do this.
They think only in government think. They don't think in regular people think.
Right. Exactly. It's like they go up there to
but
Washington
Brandon,
and suddenly
they
their
don't.
brains are just fried with.
No, guys, those people they've never been raised the same way as the rest of the public. They never have been raised the same way as the rest of the public. They have never, ever done that. They can't understand it. They don't relate to you. They say, oh, we know how you feel. We're going to do this for your taxes and do that for this. And we're going to make life easier. No, you're not, because you don't understand what it's even like. You have no clue what it's like.
Yeah.
You were never a part of that life ever. And to sit there and act like you understand these people, all you really want are their votes. Let's be real. That's what it comes down to, guys. They don't know this lifestyle.
They really don't. And so you've got these guys that clearly they think like, oh yeah, this is gonna shut them up. Yeah. And on the other side of things, it is totally not. It has the exact opposite reaction every single time. And And if they do understand that's what's happening, then they're doing that on purpose as well, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all,
Donna says they don't think like we do. They think we are stupid. Exactly.
They do. And that's the scary part.
Anita says, I've lived with that kind of people. Anyone else know the meaning of chattel? Angie said, if the majority of internet trolls are AI,
yeah.
Where'd that go? Says it's an AI. That's why I brought it up. Dead internet theory.
And basically what she's saying is that the internet is going to become a wasteland eventually of nothing more than just a bunch of AIs. And they're going to you're going to believe everything you see. Well, you already do. I mean, I see that stuff getting shared more than anything that's true that we have. It's a fact, and it's going to get worse. John Browning, what you got there?
Says, what do you think about the Skinwalker Ranch stuff?
It's real. And by that, I mean,
recorded a lot of it over the years.
I mean that we validated that data almost
before they released it on TV,
almost to a spot on. I don't understand it any more than I think that they understand it. I don't think they have a clue. I think that they're actually trying to figure it out. Is it a TV show? Yes, it is. But are there real things happening on that TV show? Yes, there is. Mm-hmm. It's almost exactly like, well, go back and watch, some of our documentaries. It's the same thing. It's entertaining, but there's real data there. And that's what's going on there, except for they're getting paid.
Yeah, right. They're getting paid, and we just put it up there to release the data. And Lotus. A lot of it we put up there is about a year too.
Yeah.
Lotus flower. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Scott Daddy.
There. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're awesome, Lotus.
What else do we have up there?
Tom says it's because we let them push us past the limits of respect and reason. What do we do about it, though?
Well, we can be us. That's what we can do about it. We can refuse to play that game. And every day I see people playing the game. And it's like they don't realize that it's not their game. It's someone else's game that you're playing. You don't have to do that. Look at what we're doing right now. You're not playing anyone's game right now. You're being you, and you're having honest opinions. We're having honest dialogues, honest discourse. And, again, it's not an echo chamber. Everyone's got their own opinions, and everyone's free to talk about them. Just look at how we get along. Why can't that be everywhere else? Because it's not. I can tell you that. I can look at that just on some of these other pages, and the amount of absolute nonsense that takes place there it's terrible. Like people, I know exactly what's going on, and you don't know anything. You're whatever. I mean, come on, guys. None of us know any of this stuff. Let's be real. We don't know any of this stuff. All we know is that something is happening. That's it.
John Browning said, well, awesome. You've now got a dedicated follower. Well, if that's all it took to convince you, sweet.
Mission accomplished. So it's funny, John. But if you like that, stick around. It's for real. It's going to get weird.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more beyond Skinwalker
coming.
Ranch than what they've got going on that show, and it gets really weird. And man, it gets real weird because for those of you guys who might be new and are hanging out with us, we're actually field investigators. We're not just talk show hosts. We run the West Virginia High Strangeness Collective, and we work with investigative teams across the world now at this point. And it's good times. Good times. We're the really Bigfoot Researchers of the Year for 2022.
Yeah.
So we look into all of the phenomena at different angles. We paranormal, Bigfoot, UFO, UAP, and just high strangeness in general. That's our bailiwick.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes, I did just use the word bailiwick.
I just ignored it too, and you brought it up again.
John said, I've never seen this before, but it's awesome. I have lots of questions. So ask away, because this show,
This is your show.
Wild and Weird Radio Live, is for the listeners.
Yeah.
It is completely guided by you guys. It's not the normal scheduled like recording of the show. So if you got questions, go for it. That's
Beth's
what we're
going
here
to bed, everybody. Just to let you know. Thanks for
Good
being
night,
here, Beth.
Beth.
We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Beth is the primary lead investigator at our
Right.
own little Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah. Yeah. Trackway says, Skinwalker Ranch. I prefer sweet and sour or honey mustard myself with big garlic.
I like Caesar.
Ooh, see, a good Caesar
Caesar.
dressing is good.
Good Caesar
Dressing,
dressing is
like
hard to
homemade
beat.
Caesar dressing is my favorite dressing for a salad.
It's hard to beat.
It really is.
Really hard to beat.
And like everybody that likes Caesar dressing, I'm going to ruin it for you right now. The key ingredient to make Caesar dressing taste like Caesar dressing is anchovies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Yep. Without anchovies, Caesar dressing just tastes strange.
I hear an EVP.
What?
I don't know what that was. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't hear it come across my end, but my speakers are really, really low.
Brandon, was there
That might have
noise in
been
your
my
house?
kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It is. All right.
Gotcha.
Sorry
Gotcha.
about that. It's
So,
Brandon.
Beth has been sending us some really interesting stuff. Speaking of our own little Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, right.
There's been a lot of activity going on out there. This is primetime season number 1 of the year for Bigfoot activity, and round 2 of it kicks off in September, October. So it's she's been collecting some really, really, really good information that we hopefully will be able to share with you guys at some point soon.
Yeah, and it ain't all Bigfoot. So just let you know
it's
that
not all
too.
Bigfoot.
Nope. Yeah,
But-
Brandy. I think it was on Brandon's end. He's been Brandon. It's okay.
Don't blame me.
Yeah, he's got screamers on the other side of the door. Mine are luckily up there, so you can't hear them too much. Occasionally you hear a big loud thud, but that's it. They're fine.
You might hear a cat around here, but I don't hear anything.
John says, do you believe the phenomenon that has significantly increased has anything to do with prophecy, or better yet, biblical truth? Okay. All right. Well,
it's too hard.
Question.
You go ahead and answer it, because it's really too hard.
John, to give you a little bit of background on me, I was a minister for the better part of my adult life, and my wife and I took a sabbatical about 5 years ago now at this point, to start our family and everything. And I was very much into the prophecy stuff and researching that, and doing the apologetics and the sociological study of the biblical times, etc. It goes very in depth, and I could sit and literally talk for probably 2 to 3 days straight about some of that stuff. But does the phenomena has anything to do with prophecy and biblical truth? That is, and coming from somebody who is very studied on this matter, I can't give you a solid answer for that. I can't. Anybody who says that
You
they
shouldn't be
can
able to.
is falsifying information. There are multiple accounts throughout Scripture that very much involve the phenomena. Ezekiel being one of them, and the wheel within the wheel, and then Jacob's ladder, and a lot of this stuff can be classified as the phenomena, the smokeless flame that Moses encountered with the burning bush, and
We like to call that subject B.
Yeah, and the transfigured, the embodiment of the transfiguration between both Moses and Christ, and how they came back from this experience. They were literally glowing. There have been people who have had encounters with the phenomena who have the exact same effect. As does it go and correlate with biblical prophecy? I'm not exactly sure. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the biblical prophecy stuff was all surrounding, and this is the Judeo-Christian stuff. So we're talking about Old Testament and New Testament. the Old Testament stuff all alluded to the Messiah coming, and then everything that occurred specifically like in the book of Revelation, those were all things that were taking place to at large the Jewish people and their surrounding environment and the new churches, the new at the time they didn't call themselves Christians, they were followers of the way. And I will expand upon Ezekiel there finding. I'll do that in just a moment. But we're looking at a lot of these things, especially your end time prophecy preachers. You lose me with that stuff, man. That those guys, and you might be into that stuff, and I don't want to offend or discourage anybody, but when the message is lost and no longer focuses on being Christ-like, and it focuses more on the destruction and damnation, that's not Jesus. That's not Yeshua. That's not it's none of those things. So that is called a marketing scheme that has been used for the last, it would be 5 decades to make money.
Or you can go back and look at that Christmas episode we did with the good Reverend. And you can just do that. I'll tell you that. Go back and look at the episode that we did. I think it was around Christmas with Reverend Michael Carter from Ancient Aliens. Another, believe it or not, he is the honorary member of the collective. He gave a great, I mean, just an incredible. It was 2 parts, wasn't it, Joe? Didn't we have 2 episodes?
Yeah, it was a 2-parter. We did it over 2 different episodes. It kind of had different tones, but yeah.
But the message is there, and he draws a correlation that we're dealing with, kind of 2 sides when it comes to that. That there's some misinterpretation that was taking place, and whether that be true or not, that's neither here nor there. Again, but I can speak to this much. I can tell you this: as far as the prophecies go, Judeo-Christian is not the only thing. That is not the only, belief systems that talk about these kind of things. Right. There are multiples, some of which are very much older. And when it comes to prophecy, I think the problem is this: fluctuations. And someone asked me last night while at the paranormal thing, because I want to do the thing on remote viewing next month, and talking about the difference between remote viewing and out of body experiences. And someone said, remote view where Bigfoot is, jokingly, or the lottery, right? You can't do that because it's a state of fluctuation. The only way, now I'm not saying that prophecy is wrong. Don't get me wrong here. I'm going to define it for you. If prophecy is real, then it is absolutely a known fact that X is going to occur, and that this individual just came back and gave you that message somehow for some reason. If that's the case, that is a strategic advantage, is what that is. Am I right or wrong?
No, yeah, you're correct. And when it comes to the whole prophecy fulfillment and things of that nature, when we can't really look at the phenomena and wrap it up with that stuff either, because a lot of this prophecy stuff, it can also be interpreted as it's already happened. It's already done. Right. That these things occurred in the past during different eras of the Roman Empire, and during the reign of the what was it called? The at-large term was the Caliphate, but it was the Ottoman Empire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, during these things were a lot of those prophecies, people could agree that there's theologians that this is a heavily debated topic.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll look at those things and they say that these things could have happened. You could say they are happening in the future, but you can also look and see the parallels where they would have happened during the late Roman Empire and Middle and Late Roman Empire, as well as
Yeah.
the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
And it's really, really interesting. Now, Thawning wanted me to go back and expand on Ezekiel and the will within a will. What he described was, for all intents and purposes, a UFO.
Pretty much, yeah. There's
It
actually
was
a book that's written.
unidentified object in the sky, and he described seeing this a wheel, which we know is a round object, right, within another wheel. And we've also had some of these things that have been described by Commander Fravor as being a circle within a box. You know, that there was a sphere within inside of a box.
Yeah.
That sounds very familiar to being a wheel within a wheel. Now, mind you, we're looking at shapes and such.
See that right there? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Focus on the words. Focus on that, not the words. The word, and you'll be good. That's.
But yeah, John, I hope that answers the question a little bit for you. I know, like, to really truly dive into that, like I would need a couple hours, and we could set and analyze and break stuff down. But just for the time we got, I hope that was helpful. Same thing, Trackway. I hope that kind of expanded on that as well.
Tommy,
at least if there was
brought up
any
really good conundrum here, and I want to address this real quick. You see, these are the kind of questions that we get asked at the tables, by people who are having troubles with trying to rationalize certain things with their belief system. So I'm going to give you a really quick story. Back when I started doing this stuff, I was raised 100%, just your Christian kid, Judeo-Christian kid, and Jesus and all this. And again, I'm not going to say that God's not real, because everything that I've seen at this point says that there's something there. You can call it whatever you want. And my relationship with that is my own. But here's the thing about that. I was very uncomfortable because I saw the way that this data was lining up. And I know that a lot of people feel this way right now. And this is to show that you can get through the ontological shock stuff. Okay. Just because you find out that something else is there, and that it's very real, and that it's very powerful, that it's very advanced, and that it may have possibly been what was written about all those thousands of years ago, that should not deter you from anything. That really should not deter you from anything, as far as I'm concerned. So it comes to this thing where people have this problem of believing in UFOs and then believing in God. Well, I don't have a problem with that at all.
So with the simulation stuff, let me throw this at you. How do you know that if life is a simulation, what if it's a simulation to get us ready for what happens after?
Training.
What do we use simulations for? We use simulations for training.
Training.
What we use it for nowadays.
Training. And
Think of it like that.
Yeah, Brandon, that's actually a one of the metaphysical thoughts of the day. The more new age type metaphysical thoughts of the day is that the earth is a training ground. It's a playground. It's a place where we come to experience. And I don't know.
That's really not exclusive even to metaphysical stuff. That's been part of the Judeo-Christian philosophy for the last couple thousand years too, for the training for the new heaven, because we're going to have the new heaven and the new earth. It's our experience here is to train us for that there.
Yeah, I remember all the descriptions too of heaven. They're pretty close to what's on earth already. Like they were describing like big walls and golden streets and stuff like that. I mean, that's
like gold's a superconductive material. So
yeah, it's related to what we have now. So,
but the whole point being, we don't know. We've been made to believe what we believe for reasons. I'm not going to run into one of these conspiracy theories where, they're holding us down and, we were made to mine gold and all that stuff. But I will say this, we were kept in the area where we wouldn't know enough. Let's just put it that way. And I think there's on purpose. And it may be for our own good. I'm not going to discount that. I know there are others who think, they did that because, but here's what I'm thinking. I don't want to teach the ant colony outside here outside my house. There's some ants that live out there, right? I go out and I fight with them every year. I go out and I put out, stuff to kill them. I feel really bad about it but then I think, well, it's their training and they probably deserve it. But, they did something bad in a past life. I don't know. But either way, I go out and we have this war with these ants. Well, imagine if I go out there one day and these ants have built a nuclear weapon. Okay. Think about this. I know that's another one of those things, but what do you do at that point? What do you do when that ant colony gets more advanced somehow?
Let me put it this way. There was a very strong and very well-funded effort for a long time to keep the general public stupid and ignorant. At one point, you couldn't even read unless you were a priest or a monk.
Well, I mean, we're going back there, so it's okay.
Yeah. And now they throw things at you now to keep you dumb and stupid, like TV and TikTok and social media.
It's the whole thing, Brandon. I think, who was it? Was it Angie that talked about the AI thing? You have to remember, man, this is the perfect machine. Everybody always worried about the CIA. Oh, they're going to brainwash us through the microwaves. They're going to brainwash us through the radio, through the TV. Don't sit too close to the TV. They'll get your. They don't have to. You pay a bill. You pay a bill every month right now to have that. You pay for your own brainwashing.
I just want to put it this way. If you have questions about your own beliefs, then you need to get outside of your comfort zone, outside your box. Because if you stay in that echo chamber, you're never going to learn anything. You're just going to keep asking the same questions and never have them answered. Well, that's what they wanted you to do for a long time, is don't ask questions.
To address the end of Tommy's question there, asking if it was bad.
Yeah.
Because you kind of lean into the simulation theory. Simulation theory actually fits within all the biblical parameters, because a simulation requires a creator.
That's right.
There has to be some creator that made the simulation. And then there could have been, like, I'm using computer terminology. There's a source code.
Yeah.
And then the source code became corrupted. And then the source code needed to be mended and repaired. And it was. There was a virus that had made its way in, and then there needed to be some kind of a repair made to mend something, and then that mending was made, and then you can look at it that way. It fits over top. Simulation fits over top of literally every big religion out there, and it doesn't break it. It kind of lines up a little bit. So there's nothing wrong with questioning that. And also to anybody else who's out there, if whatever faith it is you hold is too big to be questioned, it's probably a cult.
That's an quote.
And I have no problems saying that, because it's something that I do on a yearly basis, where I fundamentally rip apart my faith and I see if it sticks. I go back through from the foundation standpoint, and I see if it still fits. I see if it is still the answer, and I've yet to not be swayed. I've not been deterred from my faith. I've got a lot of questions for a whole lot of things about intents and people and what they do. However, it doesn't affect my where I stand and what I believe.
Well, folks.
Yeah.
Hope you're ready for our new spinoff, Wild and Weird Theology.
Right. Men in Black says, if ants get more advanced, you purchase a flamethrower robot dog primates, obviously. Then John said, well, honestly, if we get into the deep details of everything is repeated even to a micro level, even down to a single cell of the nucleus, everything has a sequence. Yeah.
Well, if you look at science now, they tell you that math makes up everything. So how do you know we're not living inside of some giant program?
And speaking of program, Tony says, if we are in a simulation, technically the programmer is essentially God.
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
Whenever you
it's words, guys.
It's called master code for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that kind of helped answer that for you a little bit there, Tommy. It's why you should. It really is why you shouldn't feel bad for thinking that way.
No,
you got to be able to question it. It's not beyond question.
No, and that's a good point. And again,
always be asking.
Like I was saying there, last night I was talking about it. I was like, you You just don't get it because you have to be okay to question these things. And you're told you're not supposed to question it, by the way.
Yeah.
When you question it and it still comes out the same, but the numbers are different. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. And it's not that I'm using it to justify a belief system. It's that I'm seeing this as data that says, well, it absolutely could be the exact same thing. We're just calling it something different.
So yeah, that was well, John's still with us. So
hey, there you go.
we still got John, guys. That's great. We got one. We got one. And it's so Brandy says we need to question everything.
That's our motto.
John says math is the only universal language and can totally see it being a simulation. You're in the right place, John. I think you're in a good spot. We've got a great community. We're glad to have you a part of it here because the way you're thinking outside of the box about things is totally fine with everybody here. And even though we might hit disagreements at some point and bump along the road, we're all still right here. None of it's so bad that we're like, oh, I gotta go. So it's great having people like that here. I think we've built like you said earlier tonight, Ron, that we've built one of the best communities ever.
Oh, I know we have. Absolutely. And then that was our dream, to actually get people to where they could actually talk.
Pat says you can't eat your pudding if you don't eat your meat.
Yeah, I saw the Floyd references. That's good.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Pink Floydians going on about their stuff out here.
Got some Floydian slips out there. But the thing, who was Brandy? Question everything. That's the motto of the collective for a reason. It literally is. We question everything. If you can't question everything, then like Joe said, you're probably right there with similar bunch of people culting it up. The more paranormal experiences. What was that? I missed that one.
Donna said the more paranormal experiences that I had, the stronger my faith and beliefs have become.
Yeah, exactly. Because now you can kind of see where that kind of stuff came from.
John says we're all on the same journey to seek and find the truth, and the truth is out there.
Yeah,
the truth will set you free too.
It does. It will. It can drive you crazy sometimes too. Just to let you know.
A Floydian slip.
A neurological shock. So that's what that was. That was a reference to that.
Brandy says we all have our own beliefs and opinions. This is a great spot to discuss it.
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah, it's this is always a fun little show to get into, man, because there's people that come in with new ideas and they can expand on your own theories and they can press against your own theories that you currently hold dearly. And it's that kind of stuff that's necessary.
There you go. Not to mention the creatures Ezekiel saw.
Oh yeah, not to mention the creatures. Right? Creatures Ezekiel saw. Had the head of a lion and the face of a man, and the seraphim. And what weirds me out is that most see, that's the problem with a lot of it. That whole second coming thing, that's not how that works. He's not going to be born back again. It's not going to work that way. It's going to be a big to do when it does happen.
Blue Beam.
What is that?
It's going to be more like Project Blue Beam.
Oh God!
Oh,
it's TRPB.
No,
let's start having some Blue Beam Tourette's here.
No, don't do this to me. Don't do it, Brandon.
It's getting blue beamed right now, baby. Sky Daddy.
He saved us from the blue beam.
Oh man.
I sent you that picture of him with Jimmy, didn't I? I thought that was hilarious.
You did. Yes,
that's
you did.
A great picture.
I still want to try to get a hold of him and see if he'll cut a video promo.
That's hilarious.
He's into that kind of stuff. He's goofy. He'll have fun.
Yeah.
John Browning says, I'm actually a deacon and I believe truly what the book of Enoch holds some salt, but mention it to other believers. Oh, dude, you ain't wrong.
It holds more than salt. And yes, you will get stoned because that ontological shock.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you can't knock it. It's been part of the apocryphal readings and all this stuff for ages. It was the Ethiopian church that
Ethiopian
was,
church, it's still canon.
yeah.
As far as I
mean,
I remember.
you can't knock it all. Like
Must have been
there's so
suppressed
much
for a
in there that
reason.
explains so much of what's going on today.
Oh, yeah.
And throughout the Bible that we just kind of miss. And it was even quoted in the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
But man, here's the thing. You have to remember when you're trying to control a population.
We mentioned blue beam. Said, bless all you fine harmonically vibrational beings. Blue beam Messiah is here.
Oh, that's too funny. So you have to remember that to control a people, you can't contradict yourself by burning innocent people at the stake and stoning them. So, you have to say that this stuff is bad juju, and it's in this book that you can't read because it's non-canon.
Right.
That's
we have not approved you to read this.
right. Exactly.
Council of Nicaea says no.
Exactly.
All I'm saying is we need enough internet geeks, like the internet geeks rallied around the Star Wars canon and what was and wasn't canon outside of the expanded universe and the new Empire books. The new Empire's canon. Dang it.
That's funny.
The new Empire books, all of those, they're canon. I don't care what anybody says. It's a hill I'll die on. Donna Ho says, unlike some other places, the folks here discuss things. They don't fight and insult unless it's about whether or not the new Empire is canon or not. And I love this group. We love you too, Donna.
Don't worry about you.
Then Angie says, see, that has to be AI. It appears now, of course. Blue Beam Messiah. Are you a robot? Are you trying to capture Blue Beam right now, Angie?
Are you a robot? It's like Angie's on this secret quest to find the robots at this point. It's almost like I'll say it because Men in Black brought it up. It's the Battlestar Galactica thing when everybody's trying to figure out who was the Cylons. It's like she's like trying to go around and figure out which one of us are real and which one of us are AI at this point. I'm real.
At least these ones aren't coming in and saying racial slurs like the other ones used to.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
These ones are fun.
Oh my goodness.
Donna?
Linda's in the house. What's going on? Sorry,
Linda.
You just brought one up and I just knocked it off. Sorry. Which one was that?
Donna.
Oh. In my younger years, Jacob's Ladder kept reoccurring in my thoughts. I couldn't figure it out. Finally, I found out it was a Bible story. So I read it and it really struck me in the UFO factor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Jacob's Ladder is also a horrifying movie, by the way, if you've never seen it.
Pat says, find all the bicycles in this picture, Blue Beam.
Oh, good. I like that.
So here in a couple weeks, the live we are going to be going over the whole Nephilim thing. We put together a big show for that for the recording, but I think it'd be a really fun one to tackle on the live and go and mix in some stuff with everybody chiming in. So I want to do that one in a few weeks.
I don't know. Let them decide. Is that what they want?
They're the ones that picked it to begin with.
I thought we did it. Oh, geez.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna roll down through here.
Pat, that was a funny one. Linda says she loves your hat, Ron.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I'm very proud of my hat. It was $12.75, Joe. I found the receipt.
Oh, man, that's even better.
$12.75. That's how much.
That's like 85% off standard price.
Oh, I know. I'm happy with that.
Finding the Trackway says Star Square Circle Bacon.
Oh, geez. I guess they are ready for that.
We need to get a shirt that just has like the wavy bacon on it.
Oh,
I often think that the stuff happened to me was for my own good. Some people say, why me? I say, why not me? If you ask for knowledge, you're going to experience things. If you ask, you shall receive. That is the absolute truth. And I have found that to be true. That is the one truth right there. that, and you may not like the answer. I'm not going to lie to you. Just because you ask, you have to be prepared for those answers, all of them. And some of them will leave you scratching your head sometimes.
Remember,
But
if
yeah.
you knock, the door shall open.
Oh, it does. You might fall in it too.
Us in the woods over there cooking hot with AR bacon. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh my gosh.
Ike says
What
circle.
in the world? So, okay. here we go.
Everybody knows what time it is. It's that
It's-
2-hour mark.
What
Everybody
time
is
is
like,
it?
it's time to
It's
start getting in our
that
guesses.
time. So we've started. We've already got you guys trained. See how it works? It only took a
We miss you
month.
too, Linda.
Oh, you need to, I don't know, find us somewhere out there. We're
Jen said that's basically what I said earlier. If you find the truth, it'll probably piss you off first. Yeah.
before it sets you free.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not as catchy as the standard.
Oh yeah, we're always at OBC.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to turn up.
Yeah. We'll be up on the 3rd floor at the party tent. I don't think there's a tent, but you never know. It could be.
LR says circle.
Guys, give me a second. All right, we're going to do this the same way we always do this. This is a blind, so we're just going to do it like this.
Star Wars.
What?
I agree with my simulation.
Okay.
All right, everybody. I think just about everybody, but maybe one or two has their guesses.
Got it? Everybody ready? Okay, here we go. Oh, and for the new people who don't know what's going on, this is a standard stock of Zinner cards. They're not evil. They're not demonic. They are a form of psychic test card that was created by a man named Zinner. I can't remember his exact name right now. For what's the Ryan Institute? I can't remember.
The Ryan.
Yeah. And this is where they used to study the possibilities that people could actually either get this information in a remote way, either through telepathic communication or precognitive, etc. Right now, we're going to do precognitive because I'm not looking at this. So that means that you guys can figure out what's here. I don't know any more than you do. And there are 5 simple, 5 simple shapes, plus, circle, square, in a
Brandon
star,
is apparently guessing pentagram
and wavy lines. And they were chosen because they had they had literally no affiliation with anything, and so that's why they are there. So anyway, here we go. I'm now going to flip the card over, and we're going to see who got.
Hey, Seth's in the house. He says square.
Hey, Seth. All right, here we go. It's a plus. None of you guys.
All right, gonna go through. Hold on, wait.
Who had plus?
I don't remember anybody saying plus.
I don't remember saying
I don't
plus.
think anybody said got bacon, circle, star, square. Oh, Pat actually said plus.
Pat got a plus. Okay, good deal.
Look at you.
That's an anomaly in its own.
Then we got square, bacon, square, acorn, pentagram, star. Linda guessed Tony.
Okay.
That's a different one.
Ron guessed owl.
No, I didn't.
Brandy guessed square. John Browning said lines, so bacon.
Lines. Yeah,
Wavy
that would be
lines.
wavy lines. That's right.
Circle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Pat.
Okay.
The one that got it, buddy.
I got that one. All right, so I'm going to put it back in here, and I'm going to shuffle these up again. And this time we're going to do the other version that people seem to do better at, and that is the telekinesis side of this thing. So I'm going to look at the card, and how we did last time was we did it by thought. How you're supposed to do this, I think, honestly, I believe that emotion has a lot to do with it, and I believe that anything that causes emotion has a lot to do with it. You remember in the Ghostbusters when Peter was shocking the little dude there every time he was getting it right? That's actually a pretty good representation of, I believe, what happens, because if there's emotion that's involved, you're more apt to get this. I don't know why it works that way, but it does seem to work that way. And we found that in other aspects as well in in the field, so to speak. A lot of your Bigfoot sightings will occur when people are emotionally connected or disconnected with other things, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to look at this one. And how we're going to do this is I want everybody right now, don't guess anything. Don't guess anything at all. Clear your minds completely at this point. Completely clear your minds. Take a lot of deep breaths in and out. Just kind of in and out for about, I don't know, a couple 5 seconds or so. Just do that very slow. And then what I am going to do is I'm going to look at this card. I'm going to snap my fingers. The minute you hear that, the first symbol that comes into your head is what you type. It does not matter what you think it is. It's the first symbol that comes into your head when you hear me snap. Okay. Breathe in. Breathe out. Here we go.
I'm saying star. We've got Ike. Ike said square.
I said square, but I was accidentally on mute.
Men in Black said clearing their minds shouldn't take this long. Angie says circle. John Browning says star. Seth says star. Nikki says star. Circle. Bacon. Square. Star. Star. Circle. Star. Sue, good to have you here on the show. Thanks for hanging out.
Hey, Sue.
I think this is your first time at least popping up in the chat. So thanks for watching and thanks for hanging out and then taking part in the Zinner cards here. Then we got circle, bacon, square, circle.
Okay.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
All bets all done?
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reveal. Star.
Now, how many did we get?
We got a lot of stars. We got a lot of stars.
Congratulations. You just associative remote viewed every single one of you.
I did. I said
this.
star. We had, let's see. I'm going to find Ike's. There we go. John Browning said star. Seth said star. I said star. Rob Posey said star. Nikki Bennett said star. Nancy White said star. Anita said star. And Tom said star. So we had a vast majority said star.
Sue also said star. So yeah, that's like 9. So you see the difference. And we did this again last week. Same thing happened. We always have that reaction when it's a telekinetic thing.
Pat said I was thinking star before you looked at it and then got circle when you snapped your fingers.
Well, that was a little bit of precognition.
Precognitive.
There. Yeah.
John says that's crazy, bro.
But that happens. And it's not a magic trick. It's not some kind of flim flam stuff or mirrors. It's literally everybody does it every single day. Yeah. You use this ability. You just don't know that you use it. When you lose something and you find it, sometimes you're not remembering where it was because you may literally not remember where you put it, but something else kicks in and you walk right to it. It is not Star Jelly, and that is not me. So basically what's happening there is a form of it's called associative remote viewing, but it's also more a associative remote sensing, because you didn't view anything, did you? You just got the feeling that that's what it was going to be. And that's how that works. And I have about 2 totes, more than that. I think it's about 2 totes. Yeah, about 2 small totes of crystals that I used associative remote viewing to find while I was on vacation. And yes, I freaked myself out a few times doing that, but the data was there and I couldn't deny it. And I'm like, all right, then. So I asked Maria to give it a shot, and because she's way better than I ever could be at some of this stuff. And yeah, it was just like she absolutely stumped me. I mean, she found some pieces that were really nice and big. Mine were all small, but I found them. Doesn't matter.
Ron is correct. It is Star Jelly. Bigfoot Littlefoot said I should win something for never guessing a card correctly.
Maybe. maybe you could.
Angie said girl power. That's always fun. That's for anybody who's new, that's how we like to wrap out this show. We do the Zinner card test where we test your psychic abilities and see whether or not you're fit to join the Ghostbusters. No, it's to just, you know, have a little fun at the end of the show and see what you guys are cooking with. And tonight was the best night we've ever had.
Yeah, they're getting better.
Yeah.
And it's almost always on the telekinesis side. The precognitive side is usually like that. See, like Sue said,
okay,
square.
Sue just said square. Check the card.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So look at
that. What?
Look at that. Now, Sue, why did you say square? Why did you say square? I want to know what happened. What made
your
you
head there for square?
What made you say that? And there it is. And Ada, what you just said, you said your brain is tired. You know, if that's why I don't do these that much afterwards, because to do a true run of these, we would have to sit down in a room and I would have to do this test with you, all 25 cards at least 25 times. At least 25 times. So it's a lot, is what it is. And you really are exhausted after doing it. Trust me. I know this. I used to do
Posey said robot dogs for everybody.
All right. I want a robot dog. I wonder if it'll play fetch before it sets fire to everything. I don't know.
Bigfoot Littlefoot said, now we need to discuss owls for another 30 minutes or so. Oh boy, give it some time. Give it some time. Bigfoot Littlefoot. Ooh.
It's been crazy. It's been crazily quiet with owls, hasn't it, for the past couple of weeks? So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not feeling owls right now. I'm feeling whippoorwills. But yeah, owls.
So Sue, fill us in what you nailed it right there on the top. Square was the top card, and we hadn't even been pulled. Finding said I got killer owl footage in Florida.
Oh, that's cool. What kind?
Doesn't that air soon? Finding. I know that was it was a Skunk Ape Alley or something was the name of it, right? Lotus said no recent activity here.
Yeah.
Tom said I haven't heard the owls hoot yet tonight.
Yeah.
Anita says ow 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 ow. Men in Black, Mothman was an owl.
No, Mothman wasn't an owl. Let's just cover that right now. Mothman was not an owl. What's speaking of Mothman, we are darn near finished on a project up that way. And I cannot wait to get everybody out there to view it. We'll be breaking the news of that shortly. But did you see that the golf is just like blowing up at this point?
Yeah,
literally
it really
blowing
is
up at this point. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. If you have not been down there to play the Mothman Blacklight mini golf, go on the weekend. You might run into us. You never know. It could
never
happen.
know.
Just saying, there's some people down there. But yeah, it's absolutely fun. So get down there and play it. It's a lot of fun. Go through all the buildings. Go through go down to the TNT bunkers and walk around. It's really pretty down there this time of year. Melinda, Mothman was not an owl. Yeah, you're right. What she said. Uh-oh.
Sue says yes.
42.
Answer is 42.
Something I wanted to bring up about programming that can actually happen is sometimes your code is so complex that things will happen in the code that you don't expect. Like in A good example is Minecraft. The creeper in Minecraft wasn't actually supposed to happen. It was just a bug in the code. So they adopted it and made it a feature in the game. So that's what I've been thinking that cryptids and paranormal phenomena might be. They might be something in the code that wasn't technically supposed to be there.
Could be. I mean, that goes right in there with the simulation theory stuff, you know.
Glitches
It's
in the
all
Matrix,
intertwined
man.
there. Men in Black says, "Don't go. You might run into us."
Well, you will run into them. I can promise you that. In some way or form, you will run into them. But it's fun, so it's okay.
All right. So tonight,
Oh my God,
has been
Rob,
great.
I am so
Rob
jealous.
says, "Night guys, getting the magic hot tub. Great show. Enjoy the magic hot tub, man."
Yeah,
Well, hopefully
enjoy
it's not
that.
a hot tub time machine and you're able to join us right here.
I don't
Sue said
know.
it just felt right.
There you go. Felt was the key word that I'm looking for. It felt right. So that's the thing. It's more a feeling, right? It's not just a image that may flash in your head so much as it's a feeling that's associated with that. And I do believe that that is probably a subject for a later time, but I also believe that that is exactly how some of these non-human, whatever they are, conversations take place.
Hey guys,
Says felt
jump.
right.
Felt.
Our resident felt master here.
That's good, Seth. I see what you
Jen
did.
says, "Is the next one bacon?" Pat and Jen are saying bacon sounds right.
Okay.
Bacon.
Nope.
You get Pat is the guy who's constantly doubting.
Square. Yeah, we're wrong. Boo.
What was that? It looked like bacon on my end.
No, it's a square.
No. Prior, the first one, the one we pulled before that.
Oh, this? No, this is the whatchamacallit.
Oh, see, it looked like the wavy lines. It looked when you
No.
held it up. There's a little bit of glare.
No.
I thought it was wavy lines. I thought you guys got it.
No. And you know what's really sad is the next card was,
Next card was bacon.
but we can't count that. And doing that is wrong because what that does, I mean, I can go through this deck and be like, oh, see, the third one was this. That's not the protocol. The protocol is what you stick by, and that's the only way that you can. Really
Seth said, "I needle felt different cryptids during every episode. Tonight is the Grafton Monster."
I want to see it.
Very cool.
Yeah, I got to see that. Wait, where'd Brandon go?
He had to dip.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know he was gone. That's the weird part. I just looked up and there's no Brandon. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
He had
to bounce out.
Did I jump timelines? What happened? I don't understand.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. This has been a fun episode. It's been a very informative episode and had some of the best Zinner card activity that we've ever had. You guys are phenomenal. Again, make sure you hang out with us next Thursday right here.
Better. If you haven't liked the show, by the way, please do that and subscribe.
Oh yeah.
Free, obviously. Free over on the YouTube. So make sure that you're following that YouTube.
Leave a comment on when it pops back around into the next cycle.
Yeah, please do leave a comment. It helps us to get up there in the ratings and that wonderful algorithm. We got to stay up ahead of that thing and get this out to as many people as possible. Changing the world. That's what we do. It's a good thing.
That's right.
It's a good thing. There are people who are changing it for the worse. We're changing it for the better. So join that side.
Nikki says, "Good night, everybody." LR says, "Now I'm going to go have to smoke my bacon wrapped pork loin. Darn it. Yeah. Right. I did bacon earlier. I had some Wright's bacon. If it ain't right, it's wrong. I love that bacon.
I don't know what in the world happened, but at some point tonight, we had 59 people at one point all together, which is just amazing. That's wild.
It was right near, and it was in the middle of the show. It was right near the beginning of the second hour.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know what we're talking about. We should probably talk about that some more.
It was the religion stuff.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's when everybody started talking about that.
Was the end?
Yep, towards about 20 minutes in is what I saw on my side.
It's at the 49-minute mark. It's right before we ended.
So it's right before we ended the
I think they were just happy we were leaving. I think that's what it was.
That could be it.
And it fell off because they were like, oh crap, they're still here. But yeah, no, I'm kidding. Obviously, it was an awesome show. We had some really good chat messages are back to normal, 640. You guys are still chatting it up, which is wonderful. And we like that. So please keep doing that. Looks great. Looks like there's 151 of you guys who chimed in from around the world, wherever you're at, and watch this, even though you didn't say anything. If only. That's what we want. We want everybody to say stuff, right? We want them to jump in there and be a part of the conversation. You are more than welcome.
And we've had 2 new people jump into the conversation tonight, and that was Sue and John. Thank you guys for jumping in. You guys are great. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody else who just sat back and were lurkers, we appreciate every one of you guys as well.
Yep, absolutely. We're only 2 subs away from 1,800 right now. I know you all think that we should have this massive 20,000 followers or whatever. Yeah, we don't, and it's okay. I mean, they'll come when they come, but the bottom line is, you 1,700, 1,800 people, you make this show, and this is your show. This will always be your show. So just remember that.
So everybody who's been hanging out with us, thank you so much. We appreciate every one of you guys. Remember, you can catch us next weekend at OBC. That's May 4th in Cambridge, Ohio, at Salt Fork State Park. Definitely come out and hang out with us. We're going to be up on the 3rd floor as usual. That's our new home there. It's the party floor, so come hang out. Then we've got the workshop coming up right after that on May 18th. Everybody who's part of that workshop, we can't wait to see you in person. We're going to have a great time.
I was asked if, certain things could happen at the workshop. Here's the thing about the workshop. We do have a structure to it, but yes, you can bring your own equipment. Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to run like your own little meditation thing, go right ahead and do it. It doesn't matter. All we ask is that if there is activity, if you're doing that, please let us document it. Yeah. That's kind of important, because we are going to see, I'm telling you, we're going to see some stuff out there. I don't know what we're going to see. And that's based on the data that we've collected everywhere else that we've been. Weird stuff seems to happen. That's a fact.
Pat says, if you're not subbed, that's your why disclosure hasn't happened yet. I agree.
That's the best. That's the best advertisement ever right there. I think I'm going to use that.
So thank you guys again. Y'all are awesome. We'll catch you out there on the road, but most importantly, we will catch you right here next Thursday. And we're going to have another great thing lined up. We've got the look at stuff review.
Oh, sorry about that.
We're going to be going over. We're going to be reviewing your data, your findings, photo, video, audio, all of it. And we're all going to be reviewing it at the same time. And I'm excited to be doing that. It has been a great show the last 2 times we've done it. This is going to be the 3rd one, and it is going to be fantastic. So
it absolutely is.
We've got stuff piled up from last month that we didn't have a chance to get to, and stuff that has been sent in since then as well. So it's going to be a great show. You guys definitely want to check that one out. And until next time, remember, yo-yos weren't always toys. Originally, they were weapons, which makes a whole lot of sense, because if you've ever, accidentally hit yourself in the head while trying to do a trick with them, you feel that it should be a weapon. So just in case, yo-yos, stay wild and weird, everybody.
I like those acrylic knocker ball things they used to have.
Oh, yeah. Weren't those cool with the lights?
Remember those? They would, they smashed and broke, and then they'd become shrapnel. So they technically were weapons. So do with that what you will.